Ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. These are famous words of John F. Kennedy. And I think they're very important for this day today. Some special event is going on today. Oh yeah, the election. Well, so many people get wrapped up into if my guy doesn't win or if my girl doesn't win, the world's going to end and the country's going to go to shit. Well, you might be right. But at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control. And if you truly do want what's best for this country, you got to make your own bed. You got to get your own stuff together. And if we get lost into this person has to do this for me, or this bill has to be signed or else I'm not happy, we're going to lose sight of the fact that we have so much power as a people, as a nation, as the people. And I mean, how did this nation get started? I'm over here wearing the Stars and Stripes. How did it all start out? It started out by us going, hey, no taxation without representation. You, the leaders that aren't even on our soil, you can't do this to us. We deserve better because we're over here working our butts off. And if we work our butts off and we do the right things, the country will take care of itself. It's just natural. But if we believe that this person is going to save us, we're still going to screw it up in the long term. They could have all the right policies. They could do all of the right things economically, foreign policy, education, healthcare. They could do it all. But if we screw it up, we screw it up. Let's talk about healthcare. If we have the best healthcare policies in the world, but yet we're eating ourselves to death because we don't care about our own health, we're smoking, we're drinking, we're doing all these bad things for our health, what's going to happen to the healthcare system? It's still going to have the problems that it has because we're going to tax the healthcare system. Education. If we don't teach kids, if we just go in and we just collect a paycheck because, oh, now they get paid more and they're respected. But if they're not being taught anything and kids end up being, not educated and they go through the process of just showing up and getting the grades and checking off the list, we're still going to have problems. So you can put all the policies in the world, but we have to walk them out and we have to perform them. And that starts with, number one, yourself. Hey, I'm no saint. I got a lot of stuff that I have to work on. I'm saying this only because I know how it works out in my life. When I say, hey, you need to do this for me, or if this happens, my life is going to be better, it never works out. And I can say that with confidence. It never works out for the better. Maybe for a short period of time, but it always, never, always, words that I look out for, and I'm going to say it with certainty, it always ends up coming back to bite me in the butt. If I don't take responsibility, if I don't do the things that I know that I should do and let go of the other stuff that I can't control, if I try to control things I can't control because other people are in charge of them, and then I don't do the things that I want, it's a recipe for chaos. So if we do that as a nation, if we say this guy's going to be our savior or this girl's going to be my savior, and I don't have to do anything because they're going to take care of everything, just see how that works out. And I say, again, go back to what John F. Kennedy said. If you really care about this country, don't ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to heal as a nation, to get better, is if we have a reciprocal relationship. If the government gives us everything, we're not going to be able, and we're not able to reciprocate that, we're not doing anything for the nation, we're going to have problems. If we do everything that we do and the nation doesn't in return, what will happen? It'll be like 1776. We'll say, screw you. We're going to rise up. And that's how it should work. The government should work for the people. But if we don't work for them and we don't do what we need to do, then we have no bargaining chips. And I think that might be what's going on in the nation. We're having this little bit of a crisis where, some people are doing the right things and they're not being rewarded for it. Other people are on that borderline where they're kind of doing some good things and not doing some other things, but they still want a lot. And I think the more realization we have that we have a lot of power individually, you can make your own home, you can make your own space better and still deal with all of the chaos around you. If we then start getting a little help from outside, it's just going to make everything better and better and better. And we'll have a great nation like we've had in the past when we were ahead of the world and everything. Well, what's happened? We rested on our laurels. We spent our wealth. We had a great time. We had a good party. It's Tim Dillon makes a great analogy. He goes, California, or not California, the United States is kind of like when you are having a great party and then your parents call you and they're coming home early and there's no way that you're going to clean up the house in time. It's kind of where we're at. We've been having a great time. We've been doing whatever we want. And now things are dirty. Things are crazy. Someone's passed out in the bathroom and mom and dad are coming home. So how do we deal with that? What do I mean by mom and dad are coming home? All these problems that we're avoiding, the things that we shouldn't have been doing are now coming home to roost because, hey, we were getting away with it because we were making money. These companies were making money and the American people were, hey, it's not that bad. Opioid epidemic. Well, it's not that bad. I mean, these people did get addicted to these drugs and they kind of knew what was going on. When it starts getting really bad and our partying starts to affect, and that's an actual example of partying. But what I'm saying is when times are good, you do crazy stuff, you have fun, and the fun is done. And we've got to work. And what I'm saying is yes, we could sit here and point the finger and we could blame, and then we could say, if only my guy was in, if only my guy was president, things would be better. I just don't agree with that. I think that we as a people have to do our part. Yes, they shouldn't be screwing us over, but if we're not going to step up to the plate, one of the examples that I always say is people get so upset and they say all these things and they make all these tweets, and then what do they do with their time? They don't do anything. They don't actually follow the steps that they talk about when they complain. All of the news networks do the same thing. They just sit there and complain. They don't come up with solutions. They don't actually go through the steps that it takes for a nation to actually change anything. They just talk, complain, and then they go on with their life and they do the same thing that they did before. If we want things to change, we have to stand up for what's right or what we believe is right. And I just don't see that happening. I think that we're fat and happy, meaning we've got our cheeseburgers, we got our French fries, we've got our vegan cheeseburger, whatever it is. But we're fat, we're happy, we've got our Netflix, we've got our cell phone, we've got everything that we need. And as much as we say we care about these things, we don't really care. So maybe bad things have to happen for us to really wake up. And I think for a lot of people that's happening. But what I'm saying is we have to take responsibility. And yes, the government has done wrong by us in many different ways. But if we don't put bargaining chips on the table saying, hey, look what we've done, we're doing our part, they're never going to accept it. And I think that that's why we've seen such weirdness happen within government over the past 15, 20 years, is they started having more and more information on us with things like the NSA and with things like the internet and Twitter and Facebook. They have all this information on us. They know exactly where we're going, what we're doing with our phones. They know all this stuff. So we say all this stuff, and then our actions do something completely different. So once those things start becoming aligned, our actions and what we say and what we do, once those things become aligned, they're just going to keep doing business as usual. So we have to put some skin in the game as a nation of the people. Do what you know you can control, forget about the rest. And if you can affect it, if you can write to your local legislator or your local congressman, do those things. But I just don't see people doing that. The only person I know that does that is my grandma, right? She's active in it. So she has a right to complain more because she's taking the steps. I'm not. I just make videos. I give my opinion on things, but I'm not sitting out here doing anything about it. So I want to start a revolution of coming up with ideas and figuring out ways of doing things and then taking the next requisite steps. That's one of the reasons why I don't vote. I've made this in another video because I don't have enough of that energy to go out and do it because I'm not studying who I should vote for. I don't know the policies. I don't know how things go down. So until I get really interested, I don't really complain. And that's why I'm sitting here today saying, hey, whoever wins tomorrow, I'm still going to have to deal with it. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to do my part. And I hope you will too. And I think that's about all I got for today. But I'm going to leave you again with that quote from John F. Kennedy. Ask not what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. Get out there or get inside, get in yourself and see what you can do to make yourself better, because what's good for you is good for me. If I do good things, that's going to expand outside of myself. to where I can be a better person to help out other people around me. And if you do the same, and she does the same, and he does the same, and we as a nation start becoming better, again, we're going to be able to affect each other, and then the people will have something to go to the government with, because the government's just us, the government's just people. And that disconnect won't be there because we'll all be saying, hey, look what's going on. And then we'll have some bargaining chips, and then we'll be able to deal with the problem. So whatever happens, we're going to deal with it. We're going to get through it no matter what. Let's figure it out together. And that's all we got for today.